All right, ladies, let's go ahead and get into it. I am Lethra J. Hill. I am your hair coach. And today we're talking about how to regrow back my edges. And this is something that we really deal with, especially in the African American community as women, because we do a lot of protective hairstyles that affect us. And that actually is detrimental to our hairline and hair loss and so on and so forth. So we're going to talk about the causes of it. We're going to talk about the signs, how to combat it and prevent it from coming. Okay. And so let's go ahead and start off with how is it caused? Of course, we know it's called by CCCA. Don't make me say the word, but it's basically traction alopecia. That's where we're doing the tight braids here, or we may do a sewing that extremely tight, right? And instead of us saying to ourselves, oh my gosh, this is extremely tight, we tend to think that the tighter it is, the more it will force the hair follicles to grow. That's like a mythical thing that we have from years growing up. Our parents, our moms braided our hair tight, so we believe that. So when you have braids, or maybe you have adhesive, maybe it's some type of glue wig on or something like that, so when you're taking it off, it's causing trauma to the hair, right? So when you notice that you have pain, and these are some of the causes, right, and some of the signs, you'll have headaches, right? Don't take medicine. Take medicine because you have the headache, but that is an indication of, I need to take this out of my hair immediately. Yes, you may have spent a lot of money on it, but you need to go back and say it's too tight, right? The second thing you may experience, like pain on the side of the temples, things that we do. Now, I know me back in the days when we used to call, I'm in Miami, so we used to call pigtails, and you get the little tiny braids, and it was too tight. And somebody said, well, just run water on it. Oh, it wasn't pigtails. It was a sewing I had, my first sewing. I think that was my last sewing. No, it wasn't. But anyway, getting back to it, I had a sewing and it was so tight. And it was so tight that they told me to run water over my head after she sewed it. And she did a great job because it was curly weave. But I ran the cold water, I ran the hot water. And then somebody was like, just sleep it off because the pain wouldn't go away. And finally, the next morning, I took it out of my hair. Thank God I did, because that was my sign saying, hey, this is too tight. Especially up in the front, because your hair is more fine there. It was too tight, and so I had to take it off. I was like, no, I can't. I couldn't even think straight. I don't know how people do it. So I couldn't even think straight, okay? So once we understand that, don't try to solve it by doing those little home remedies. No, you have to take it out, because what's going to happen is when you do decide to take it out, or while it's still in your hair, you'll notice those bumps that's raised up. Those are not bumps because it was just tight. That is your hair, your follicle saying there is trauma there. You see the little white bulb, and so there is trauma there. So once you decide to take that out, you will see your hair is thinner there. How to combat that? How do you combat it is, don't do those styles. Give your hair a rest, because now that your hair has thinned out in the front, or even if it's bald, you now are trying to grow your hair back. So you don't want to put any tension or anything towards that hair. You're now trying to restore it, right? So what you're going to do is, now that that has happened, you're going to not do any protective hairstyle that's going to cause tension to your hair, because even when the hair grows back, it's going to grow back finer, because that has caused a lot of trauma. And if you already had thin hair, you can't expect your hair, one, to grow back in days, thin or thick hair, but two, if you already had thin hair, you can't expect when your hair starts growing back to be thicker. It's going to grow back, but it's going to be even finer or thinner than it was before, because of the trauma that you've caused. So you kind of got to look at that. Now, ways that you can combat it is, of course, don't stop the bad practices of that immediately. The second thing that you want to do is you want to focus on, you want to focus on how to combat it, as far as stop doing what you're doing. You also want to use products, right, that are going to, let me put my glasses on because I wrote notes, so I can't really see that well. So once you've done that, if you don't stop and you continue to do the bad practice, what's going to happen is it's going to eventually get to that shiny part where you see this scarring alopecia. All right, so that's what you don't want to do. So now you want to start scalp treatments. That is shampooing your hair, conditioning your hair, right? Some of the things you can use is like rosemary, right? You can use rosemary. You can massage your scalp with it, you know. You can also use minoxidil, 2% minoxidil, again, going into the scalp in those areas, all right? When you're massaging, I would do it twice a day, in the morning and it definitely at night, to get those hair follicles flowing, that blood flowing there, because that is where you're gonna see the restoration, okay? I would not recommend vitamins. And the reason why I wouldn't recommend vitamins is because a lot of times you go into the stores and you see, oh, for nails and hair, all these different vitamins, and like biotin is already within us, okay? So a lot of these vitamins that are telling you it's gonna grow your hair are not FDA, not necessarily not FDA approved, but they're not looking into it to see, to justify or to tell you that, yeah, they qualify, you know what I'm saying? They don't regulate it. That's the best word. They don't regulate it like they regulate drugs to say yay or nay. And as we can see, it's not growing your hair back. Okay, so stop. Don't run out and do those home remedies, okay? The next thing you want to do, you want to work on the inside. You want to take care of antioxidants, because what's going on here is inflammatory. Your hair is inflamed, your scalp is inflamed. So what do we do with that? We always got to touch all three, right? We got to talk about the importance of the cause of it, the diagnosis. You want to also talk about how to restore it, and then you want to also work on your health. So antioxidants, as far as like food, meaning like berries, blueberries, strawberries, avocados, things that help your body, oranges for vitamin C, vegetables, right? So these are the things that are going to be anti-inflammatory, that's going to take out of that inflammation that you have. You have inflammation throughout your body, but when you see it there too, that's something that you want to do to go ahead and help. So we're going to work on it from the outside in or inside out. That's up to you. Last but not least, I do recommend to get a board certified dermatologist, right? So they can analyze your scalp and see what steps you need, because sometimes when you're dealing with a hair loss like that, or a traction alopecia, it could raise flags to something underlining that you may be dealing with and you're not sure. And also remember, y'all know I love my trichologists because they're a little bit more in depth, because a lot of times when you go to a dermatologist, especially if it's not a dermatologist that understands our type of hair, we have a different type of shape hair, even when it comes to when they get implants. You know, you can't just go to anybody. You got to go to someone that specializes in that. And so I recommend that you go to a certified dermatologist or a trichologist, and they're going to recommend certain things for you, whether it is steroids, where they give you shots, injections in your scalp so your hair can grow back. They're going to recommend, of course, topical steroids for you as well, minoxidil, different things like that. And if you're like, Lee, where do you find a dermatologist? I watched this video recently and I was like, oh, that's cool. It's called blackdermdirectory.com. And I'm going to add the link there. Now, the last but not least, when you start getting the treatment, and you have to be consistent. When you start getting that treatment and you're consistent with it, you can expect, if you go to the dermatologist and you get it now, and I got another video talking about getting treatment immediately. When you go to that dermatologist, they're going to, with the injections, you can see a difference between 2 by the 3rd injection, or by 3 to 6 months, you'll start seeing your hair starting to restore itself, okay? And last but not least, a lot of you don't want to go to dermatologists, you don't want to go to trichologists because you're like, I don't have the money for that. If a lot of insurance actually covers your visits for a dermatologist. So look into that if you have insurance. If you don't have insurance, believe it or not, those injections that I talked about, they range from anywhere from $100 to $200. So if that's something that you need, if that's a treatment, once they do they analyze your scalp and tell you exactly what you need to restore your hair, they're going to give you out a plan if they know you don't have the insurance, because they understand that this is an epidemic that we're actually dealing with, and you can restore your hair. So I beg and plead, especially to my women that look like me, to get the help that you need. Don't wait, because if you wait, you will be the woman in those videos that I show where they have permanent hair loss because they never got the treatments that they need. And I promise you, if you do it now, you'll be able to restore your hair, okay? My videos will come out every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm going to post them at 10 a.m., okay? And hopefully these videos are helping you. Make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, okay? And watch the video all the way through, because it has some really, really important information for you guys, okay? So I'll see you next video. Bye.